Welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life of a military wife. And we are going to be talking about family organizations that the different branches of the military have and what their purpose is, how to get involved. And that includes, I'm really excited to announce, our very first guest contributor. We're going to have a guest on the show. It's a recorded interview that I'm adding into the show, and the contributor's name is Katie. She has been a family group leader for many years, and I'm excited for you guys to hear the conversation that we had. Also, I hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial Day. It's an opportunity to be with family, and yeah, please share. I'd still like to know what you guys did. Ours was not as planned because the weather doesn't always cooperate, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I'm super excited about this week and super excited about this topic because I feel like it is a great resource that is underutilized through all branches of the service. And with that said, let's just dive into this week's episode. So, yeah. I'm your host, Sam Wolf, and this is Life of a Military Wife. Okay, before I jump into the interview with Katie, I want to clarify some terms and stuff that, listening back to the interview, I didn't clarify properly at the time. And that is the difference between the names that the family organizations are called based on the branch of service. I refer to it as alphabet soup because really, in all sincerity, half of the military-ness is acronyms, and they change based on what branch you're in. So the family organizations in the Coast Guard, it's a work-life program. For the Air Force, it's Key Spouse Program. For Navy and Marines, it's a family readiness group. It used to be that for the Army, but the Army has changed it now to Soldier and Family Readiness Group. So it's SFRG, FRG, Key Spouse, who knows? It's alphabet soup, but at the same time, the purpose of the organizations are generally the same. How they're applied across the branches does change. In putting together this episode, I reached out to spouses, and especially with Guard spouses, they said a lot of these programs just don't function in the Guard units at all. They'll maybe do something once a year, but they never know who to contact. And I've heard the same thing with spouses and individuals from the Marine Corps to Air Force. It really depends on your unit, and that's one reason why I wanted to have the conversation with Katie, because Katie has been in the opportunity to be in a leadership position for these organizations for a long time. She has experience with getting it to work and getting it to work well. I had lost my faith in the family organization system prior to meeting her, and it was her enthusiasm and love for the programs and her clear way of explaining it that changed my mind. And I realized that I could just sit here and tell you all about it, but why not share with you the person who changed my mind and let her share her love and passion for it with you directly. So with that said, I'm going to cut right into my interview with Katie. And after the interview, I'll come back and kind of do a wrap up. Okay, so starting out today, we actually have a treat. I have a friend with me. We are talking about FRGs, and she is an Army spouse who has been an SFRG leader for a while, ever. And her name is Katie, and I'm going to ask her some questions, and she's going to give us some information. So first question, Katie, is FRG or SFRG or whatever they are in your thing, can be a lot of things. What is your vision? What is it that you want to accomplish ideally? Maybe we don't always hit that, but that's what the goal is.
So like the SOP that my husband would call it is for him is to be able to distribute information effectively, resource them with information so they can take care of themselves instead of taking care of them. And that's his vision as the commander. My vision is not everyone has to be best friends, but they have people to reach out to. And bonding before the crisis, that's super important to me, because if someone has a crisis and they've never heard of me before, they're not going to reach out to me. That is my perfect FRG. I had a great experience when I first started, brand new lieutenant's wife, and the captain's wife walked up to me, and I had no idea what FRG was. It was our first duty station. I knew nothing. She walks up to me and she's like, "You look like you would be great for this job. Would you help me?" And like, that was the perfect way to phrase it. When you stand up there and you say, "Does anybody want this job?" No. But when you personally like study people and say, "You would be great for this job. Would you help me?" That makes them feel wanted and needed and a part of the team. And that's how you build a great, like, solid team, in my eyes, that can get the information out and they actually care. They don't have to be perfect at what they do, but actually caring. I can train anyone, but I can't teach them to care or make them care. So,
yeah, I've seen that. That is something I've encountered a lot. People will be like, "Okay, I need callers, or I need this, or I need that. You have to do this training and that training," and nobody raises their hands, right, ever. I've tried volunteering more, but I have a lot on my plate. I think everyone does feel really busy, especially for spouses who work or have little kids. They may not feel like they have time to do something extra. What would be your advice to those wives who want to see an improvement in their SFRG, FRG, ready, whatever it's called in their branch of the military? Whatever their alphabet soup is. Yes. But they want to see it improve. They want a better organization, but they don't know where to start, or they don't feel like they have the right to step in. Because I've heard enlisted wives saying, "Well, they only want officers' wives, so they were not going to listen to me." What would you say to someone who wants to be involved but doesn't feel like they have the right to step in, or doesn't feel like they have the time to step in?
I would say reach out. The military says reach out through your husband. That doesn't often work. Our husbands are super busy. They don't remember all the stuff, whatever. But I would say find someone in your units, that wife, and start networking and trying to find who's running the FRG, and approach them and say, "Hey, this is how much time I have. This is what I can do." I work with a bunch of wives who work and have children and don't have a lot of time. And so we built instead of a phone tree or an emails get lost. No one reads emails. We text it. I send out a message to the 18 point of contacts. They copy and paste it and send it out to their 5 or 6 ladies. And they can, that way they're bonding with those 5 or 6 people. I could text it out to all, 300 wives. But if you break it into point of contacts, those 5 or 6 ladies are bonding with their point of contact, and they're doing a little group message and having funny memes and whatever, but bonding, so that they have those numbers in their phone and they can reach out to those people when they have an emergency or even frustrated with something.
Thank you, and sorry for phone issue. No, that's actually really good advice. I feel like when I was told about, I'm not sure I'm going to get the term right, so please correct me on this. The contact caller, that position.
Key caller or point of contact. Either one. When
I was told about the key caller position, it sounded really intimidating, but the way you just described it, it sounds really approachable.
The way it's described is not how I use it. Mm-hmm. It used to be very different, but we're all super busy. I just want people to have a number in their phone, because when things come up, when I see things on our spouse's page, ladies that have issues and they don't even know who to contact, that solves that. They've got 6 numbers, even with just their point of contact and all those ladies in that group chat. They have those numbers. Someone they feel comfortable with, they've been talking to already, that they can reach out to. And if that point of contact can't solve it, they push it up the chain and, hey, what do you think about this? And I don't jump and contact that person unless they feel like they can't handle it. I give them point of contact the information and they reach back.
That's awesome.
So that way they're bonding.
Yeah, I really feel like that changes the perspective of that position. And okay, so for those of us, because I've been in this position too, and I know what I did, but I want to hear what you have to say. For those who want to do something and for example, we had an issue with our unit, no one would be the FRG leader. Absolutely no one would be the FRG leader. I didn't feel capable of taking on that role myself, and considering my husband's position in the unit, I didn't feel like that would be the best place for me. But I wanted to see it happen. So if you have no functioning FRG at all, what do you recommend for those women?
Okay. I've actually have one of these issues right now. The troop commander is not married. So I go have a gathering and I scope people out and I watch how they interact with others and who is very talkative and who's looking for those that aren't feeling included. And I just approach them and say, hey, have you done FRG before? And even if they don't have the experience, again, you can train that. But if they don't care, they don't care. So I would approach that person and say, hey, would you like me, I've already taken it a million times, but would you want to take the FRG leader course with me? And it's always better to not just have a single FRG leader, to have co-leaders. So much better, because my personality may not reach everyone. Your personality may not, but together we can reach everyone. And someone may not be comfortable approaching me, but they'll be comfortable approaching you and, with me. But as a team, you just can reach a lot more people and get a lot more done. And the load feels a lot less on your shoulders.
No, I do. I have noticed that talking to someone else, they said the same thing. They were asked to be FRG leader, and they said, I can't do it myself. They're like, what if we get you a co-leader? And they said, okay. And they said that was probably the best experience they've had with FRG in leadership, was because they had someone else to carry. And when there is an emergency, you don't want to be the only person.
Right.
So that I really love your suggestions and ideas. What is the most helpful thing a busy person can do for you?
In the FRG?
Yeah, in the FRG.
Be honest about the time that they can give. If they want to help with the FRG, just tell me. I have no time. I have little kids. I've got, they've got their sports. I've got a full-time job, all that. I will find something that fits you and brings you in. Whether that's, copy and pasting and sending text out for me, or taking pictures at an event, that's super helpful. Or just being that person that watches out and sees, oh, this girl showed up at the event, but she looks like she's struggling. Maybe someone could check on her. That's super helpful, because I'm trying to watch and catch those things, but I'm one person. So I will find a job for you.
Yes. I think that is probably the biggest deal, is being proactive, because I know that it's intimidating sometimes when we get into a new unit and you're like, who am I to put myself forward and to get into people's faces? But at the same time, who are we not to?
Do you know what?
No one's going to do it for us.
I do not care who anyone is. If you walk up to me and say, hey, what can I help with? I'm like, you're amazing. Yes, let's do this. So
yeah,
that's how we do it.
Well, I love it. I love your suggestions. Right. Closing then. Whenever you get up, or if you had one message to tell to military spouses, what would it be about SFRG?
I would definitely say I know a lot of people have had negative experiences in SFRGs, but to give it a second chance, because if all the good people walk away, then we will not have an amazing SFRG. And be patient. We're all imperfect. We all make mistakes. I tell them I would never hurt anyone's feelings on purpose. So if I do, come talk to me about it. And I am so sorry, because I would never do that on purpose. But give each other the benefit of the doubt, and keep trying to build your unit SFRG. It can be amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for your participation again. This is my friend Katie. She's Army SFRG leader, and I really appreciate your time. So thank you for doing this. Yep. Again, I am really grateful to have had a guest contributor on this topic, because I have had several years now participating in family organization groups, but as having never been in a leadership position, it's so much better, in my opinion, to hear from someone who has been through all the training, understands the vision and the purpose of those organizations, and can give a different perspective on it. I've been trying to be more involved with my husband's unit ever since then, and it can be hard, and I do little things every now and then, but something's better than nothing. And I really love what another wife who reached out to me on this topic said. She's like, honestly, they don't always contact you. And if that's the case, then sometimes you have to reach out to them. Ideally, a wonderfully organized family group will be reaching out to you as soon as you get into the unit, but that doesn't always happen. And our wonderful military spouses are super busy when they get into a unit for the first time. Don't always think about that. So if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling forgotten, and you don't even know what's going on, be proactive, reach out, and see if there's a Facebook page. When I found my husband's unit's Facebook page, it changed the entire ball game, because I was able to then have a direct link to communicate with other spouses in the unit and find out what was going on without having to constantly pester my poor husband, who has a million other things on his plate when he gets to work. He never remembers my questions about family activities. So my suggestion is try to get involved or connected with another spouse, just like Katie said. It really does work. Look and see if there's a Facebook page. Be proactive and be supportive. I've been in leadership positions in other organizations, and there is nothing more devastating than planning an activity and having no one show up, or trying to put together a project or something and having no feedback. And if you can't be the person doing the thing, be the person supporting the person doing the thing. Anyway, maybe that makes sense, maybe that doesn't, but that's my 2 cents for this topic. Hopefully it was helpful. If you have questions, comments, or anything, please feel free to reach out to me if I don't know the answers. I've got really great friends who've been there, done that with this, and I can run it by them. But that said, I'm going to ask for a little bit of patience, because it is summer, and that means I am going to be recording all of these wonderful podcasts with a full house of people. So if there are some hiccups, be patient, bear with me. I do have children, I do have a dog, I do have a life. Well, most of the time, but anyway. So yeah, it's going to be an adventure this summer getting these podcasts out to you, but don't worry, they will be out. They will be out on time. I will have to pre-record a few to manage that, but it's going to happen. And last thing I'm going to say is I am putting together a special episode. It will be an extra episode for the 4th of July. I am particularly looking for stories of everyday soldiers who were involved in the Revolutionary War. I will be sharing the one story I have of a family member, but I'd like to hear your stories. I'd like to hear about your ancestors, your family. So if you've got a story, please shoot it, send it my way. I want to hear it. I want to include it. I'm focusing mostly on the Revolutionary War this time around, but if you've got an exceptional story from a member of your family who served at any period in U.S. history that you want to put into consideration, feel free to contribute that as well. So, that all said, wrapping it up, thought for the day is be proactive. If you want to feel included, include yourself in these family organizations. And, that's pretty much it for today. I am your host, Sam Wolf, and this is Life of a Military Wife.